I went on a quest in my own film, Mum, Misunderstandings of Miscarriage, to understand everything I was going through.
I am currently going through my second miscarriage.
A bit crampy, but anyway, I think that's normal.
I know there is always more to learn, so that is exactly what I set out to do. I went to speak with a team of doctors at Virtus Health.
I am a fertility specialist as well as a gynaecologist.
I'm a registered nurse and I'm a registered midwife as well.
There we go. How are you going?
Never better. So I care for women all the way from preconception to when they actually become pregnant and all the way through until the birth.
We provide assisted reproductive services for people, families looking to have babies.
Earlier on, you were helping me with understanding what is a miscarriage.
A miscarriage is really pregnancy loss that happens before 20 weeks of gestation. Early miscarriage usually happens before 12 weeks, and a later miscarriage then happens anytime thereafter.
We see everything. These results will change their lives if it's a positive and, will again change their lives if it's a negative.
Throughout the years on my journey, I realised how much I've learnt, and I really began to understand that the more people I spoke with, the less guilt and isolation I felt in my own experience.
The most important thing to mention is that miscarriages are not rare. They're actually much more common than we think. On average, up to 1 in 5 will end in miscarriage. As we get older, our egg quality changes and that number goes up exponentially.
People are very hard on themselves and there's a lot of self-doubt and a lot of self-blame.
The society that we live in at the moment, everybody expects a good outcome from everything.
A lot of people still feel or see themselves as failing when a pregnancy doesn't reach that term gestation and a healthy baby at the end of it. Is that why this topic is taboo? Like why?
Yeah, correct. I think so. And for some reason, people don't think it's my fault. To a certain extent, some of the self-help groups actually perpetuate that myth because, there are the miscarriage diets and the pregnancy diets. And if you're doing everything to try and be pregnant and then if she deviates off that path a little bit, well, that's the problem why I haven't fallen pregnant. Of course, or I've had a pregnancy loss. Of course, that's not the situation at all.
So if a healthy embryo takes root in the uterus,
there's really nothing much anyone can do to disrupt that pregnancy.
I suggest to patients is they don't spend too much time on Google because although it can be helpful, it can come from a lot of different sources and the more Googling they do, the higher their anxiety is.
There seems to be common myths amongst those who have lost. Myths like, miscarriages are rare. I caused this and it's my fault. Miscarriages run in families.
The way I like to describe our chromosomes, they're like volumes of an Encyclopedia Britannica. So we've all got a pair of 22 chromosomes and then we've got our sex chromosomes. Imagine you've got this bookshelf with 2 volume 1s, 2 volume 2s, all the way through until you hit 22. When you create an embryo, it's like taking 1 volume 1 from the mum's side and 1 volume 1 from the dad's side. All these books sort of fly out of the shelves to repopulate a brand new bookshelf for the baby. Now, the vast majority of miscarriages or early pregnancy losses are a result of the number of volumes of encyclopedia being created in the embryo being incorrect. So where there's either an additional volume or a subtraction of a volume. Now that can happen with any of the 1 through to 22 chromosomes. And if there is any abnormality, then that results in a miscarriage. And that's totally sporadic. And the vast majority of miscarriages are merely as a result of those chromosomes just not matching up at that particular time.
If it's a later miscarriage, it is often caused by other issues. If your mother or your sister have had a couple of miscarriages, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a miscarriage. However, chromosomal issues that we carry in ourselves can contribute to a higher rate of an abnormal embryo. So some problems can be passed down. However, it's a simple test where we would look at doing a karyotype on both the male and the female to look for any of these hereditary problems.
We feel that for a lot of people who experience pregnancy loss, having and knowing why is important. So our genetics team do a lot in the area of science.
So there are many different things that can be looked at to help answer why this has happened. Sometimes we don't find an answer, but in situations where we do, there is a lot that we can do to change things.
Thank you. I am so thankful to this team of professionals who have given me more insight than I could have hoped for. It is comforting to know that families in their care will be given the support and resources they need. Because miscarriage matters.